the 1999 Constitution review has drawn various reactions, as there have been talks on new state creation, state police, amongst other pressing issues that have been raised. Last week, former President Olusegun Obasanjo condemned Nigeria's leaders for their problems, adding that the problems would persist regardless of the constitution in place, as long as those implementing it continue with the same approach. He stated this in his submission at the National Summit on the Future of Nigeria's Constitutional Democracy held at the Transcorp Hilton in Abuja. The summit, convened by the Nigeria Political Summit Group in partnership with the Patriots, seeks to draft a new constitution that could help reposition the nation. The Patriots, led by the former Commonwealth Secretary General, Chief Emeka Anyoko, and former Akwa Ibom State Governor Victor Atta, had stressed the need for Nigeria to adopt a credible constitution. They stressed that only a credible constitution would help the country tackle insecurity, economic hardship, and infrastructure challenges. However, Obasanjo, in a letter to the chairman of the National Summit, Anyoko, said he was more concerned about those who operate the constitution than the need for a new one, emphasizing good governance and citizens' welfare. Well, joining us on the show this morning to discuss the restructuring as proposed by the Patriots and the issues raised across the country on the ongoing constitution review is Professor Auwalu Yadudu, a constitutional lawyer. Good morning, Professor. Welcome to the program today.
Yes, good morning, Madam. Thank you.
Well, Prof, in your view, do we need a new constitution, as the Patriots and others are arguing? They say only a new constitution, a people's constitution, can be considered credible. The 1999 constitution being a creation of the military administration. Or do you agree with President Olusegun Obasanjo, who says that the problem is not the body of the constitution. The problem is about the people who operate the constitution. If you agree with the latter, what is wrong with the people, in your opinion, who operate the constitution?
Well, for once, let me agree with former President Obasanjo. I do believe that our problem is surely not the Constitution. A document is what people make of it. I don't think whatever problems we have today can solely be laid at the door of the constitutional instruments. I am also of the view that the claim that the Constitution is a military constitution and that we should throw it away, I think is baseless. It is not a constitution by the military. It happens to have come into being at the exit of the military, and it has had the support and participation and contribution of Nigerians, not only in the days before the handover in 1999, but you might, of course, know, as I do know, you know, Doctor, that this is a constitution that didn't just spring up in 1998. It is a constitution that owed its origin to 79, and some of its provisions actually dated back to Republican Constitution, the chapter on judiciary, fundamental rights, and what have you. So it is not a constitution that was cooked overnight by the military and hosted on Nigerians. But we are not making sense of it, and I entirely agree with Mr. Former President that it is less about the document, but far more about those who operate it.
Thank you so much for that, Professor. Well, it's baffling to many that at the top of the agenda is state creation, and that state creation continues to garner momentum. Just yesterday, there were reports that the creation of Anyoma State specifically is also gaining a lot of support within the National Assembly. But as a constitutional lawyer, I'd like for you to unpack for us the meaning of state creation, because they make it seem as though, you know, there'll be some legislation passed at the National Assembly and that's that. But of course, there's a referendum process. There's so many processes involved. And the cost of this process is also not mild. We're not even talking about the cost of running these states. We're talking just of the cost of state creation. Is this concept that's gaining so much momentum, is it even realistic? Can it be achieved?
Well, I think it does happen that whenever there is such an outing, whether by the patriots who held their conference or during the process of public hearing by the National Assembly Constitutional Review Committee exercise, people, because it is an item on the agenda, and many people would not want to be missed the train, as they would say, and therefore they will emphasize their demand for states or a state. The fact of the matter, as you alluded, is that there are clear constitutional provision for state creation, and they happen to be such that it requires the involvement, the choice of those who wish to either leave a state or even join another state, and not necessarily create another state, have a process to follow under Section 8 of the 1999 Constitution, and that, but the crescendo of demand and even adulation that you have this state or this number of states appears to be sending the wrong message to people, that as if those states have been created. I think it's not even started. The game has not started, because even if you were to initiate the process, there has to be the involvement, the participation, the acceptance or rejection of peoples and communities that will be affected, not to talk about the cost element that you have alluded. The cost element, of course, is there. But I think one has to realize that there is a process to be gone through, and it is a people-oriented process, but most people don't want to start it that way. They just announce it, and that they bring out the drums as if the states have been created, regardless of the number.
Okay. You agreed before that the problem was not all about the Constitution, but about the people that run the Constitution, which are the politicians and the leaders. Then how can we fix these people that have constantly run the Constitution? Because see, when we had a regional system in the 60s, it was these same people that their fights couldn't stop. The politicians. We had Wet here, the Wild Wild West. Akitola, Auwalu, politicians. We had Demo. I can go out singing the songs and the political chants in the 60s, but I wouldn't bore you with that. When we left that constitution and came to a presidential system, it was still these people, dramatic personnel, politicians, that created the chaos and the level of corruption. How do we fix these people? Because they've been a missing link in the argument for such a long time. How do we fix these people that run the Constitution that always run amok? What can we do?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry to say that actually in the First Republic, the politicians did work out the Constitution. When we look back to say how Chief Obafemi Awolowo ran the western region of Nigeria, or if you look at the north, the Ahmadu Bello ran the system, they had people who worked to make the Constitution work for the people and also uplifted their peoples and positions. So I think it's not a good example. There were problems, of course, in 1966 or 65 during the elections, and as there will be. Now, I think the way to fix the politicians, there are many ways. One, hopefully, you will have an electoral system that will really bring out the best out of our people, and also would not brood of the illegalities and the corruption that the political process, the democratic process throws in our way. You also hope that that people would also hold their representative to account. We do not seek to hold our representative to account. We only go to them to seek for assistance, naming ceremony, building this or that, and that, but we do not hold them to account. So there are a number of ways already recognized in the system, within the Constitution, that the people can hold their representative to account.
Okay. Prof, well, you have made it clear that a new Constitution is not necessary, because a new Constitution will mean a wholesale abandonment of the extant Constitution. But are there aspects of the 1999 Constitution that you think are in need of urgent amendment and review, particularly with those sections, with regard to those sections dealing with the electoral framework? Because some Nigerians say that's very urgent. Are there some areas that you think can be amended instead of a wholesale abandonment of the 1999 Constitution?
Well, a wholesale abandonment is impracticable. Perhaps will also force a legitimacy issue. But obviously, Dr. Abati, I agree with you. There are quite a number of areas that in the Constitution can be amended to make things work better. The electoral reform exercise initiated in 2007, or is it 8, can be deepened, and there are bills before the National Assembly seeking to attain that. There are also bills seeking to create an enabling environment for gender participation in the process, greater gender participation in the political process. And the Constitution itself, as you operate it, you do encounter difficulties in its words, and I'm sure there will be areas that can be tweaked and modified to make for better operation. Now, the fact of the matter still is you would have to allow or maybe admit of the process that some of the things that we have a problem with may be addressed through judicial interpretation. I know that a lot of people have low opinion of the judiciary because of the murky waters that they are involved in electoral matters. But I think the judiciary has the power under the Constitution to interpret sections in a manner that will enhance the operation of the Constitution. I know we don't have time, but I think if we were to allow for difficult issues encountered in a particular set of section or chapter, it is a matter that can be resolved by the courts. It has happened in the Second Republic. A lot of our seminal and very important decisions which regulate the political process and the constitutional process were arrived at by the judiciary. I think they can also have a say in that. I wouldn't want to have to go through a litany of what sort of issues can be ameliorated or maybe better adjusted, but there are. And the Constitution is meant to, is not something cast in stone that you cannot change on its own terms.
I'd like to thank you very much for joining us on The Morning Show.